it was so straight in our mind that once you complete your 10th, you take science, and once your science is done, then you either choose NEET and be a doctor, or you choose JW or CT and be an engineer. I was just a part of that system who just followed what the system allowed us to do. There came a plateau where I just had to apply whatever I've learned. It became a mundane thing after that, and then I started losing interest in that because there was nothing to learn more after that. I just told myself that Siddesh, you have time. You know that you want to do something different. You don't know what do you want to do exactly. Just give it a shot. I felt like a loser at some point because the computer engineering system that I came out of, all of them were either working in Microsoft or Google, and then I was here figuring out and not earning at that point. When it comes to performing, the most important thing is the network that you have. And when it comes to production, I think that is more of a on the field job. You don't need to figure out your life in one day. So I think the best way to transition is to explore the things that you like with your job, and then slowly transition, slowly keep the building the network, keep showing up in that ecosystem as well, and then transition slowly into that field. There is a quote, it is in Hindi, if I may say that. It's like कि निकाल लाया हूँ पिंजरे में से परिंदे को, निकाल लाया हूँ पिंजरे में से परिंदे को, अब परिंदे के दिल में से पिंजरा निकालना है, which is something that I went through.
Hello and welcome to DiscoverU Career Journeys. We're excited today to have Siddesh Sonawane with us today, someone who from his high school days was already balancing more interests than most people do in a lifetime. Dance, music, trekking, reading, anchoring. For Siddesh, his energy sparks when he's around people, creating live experiences and taking the lead in dynamic environments. But like many students navigating career choices in India, there comes the pressure of choosing a path that feels safe, feels stable, practical, and future proof. So, when the time came to decide what to study, Siddesh, with the help of his parents' support and decision, chose engineering, a choice many students will instantly relate to. He went to study computer engineering at Sardar Patel Institute of Technology in Mumbai, but Siddesh didn't stop at academics here. In college, he founded the institute's first official cultural club, led a team of 80 students, and directed a 300-member committee for the college's flagship festival, even bringing artists like Ayushmann Khurrana to the stage. After graduating, he began his career as a business analyst at Quantify Analytics, working in the world of AI, machine learning, and data analytics. But the pull towards people, events, and live experiences never really left him. Choosing to step away from the conventional corporate route, he explored a series of exciting, unconventional opportunities, from working as a VR operations executive with IPL to a fellowship in product management that led to a shortlist with Zomato, along with explorations in event management and film production. Somewhere along this journey, he also became the lead singer of a band and started performing professionally. Today, Siddesh is the operations manager at Aaron Fernandez Entertainment, where he manages artist tours, live show executions, backstage operations, sound, lighting, and everything that happens long before the audience takes their seats. His journey is a reminder to us that careers are rarely linear, and sometimes the right path is discovered by exploring, experimenting, and staying honest about what truly energizes you. Hello, Siddesh. Thank you for taking the time to share your story. It's a real pleasure to have you with us today.
Hello, Naida. Thank you for calling me here. It's been a real pleasure to be at this podcast.
Great. So, Siddesh, let's kind of warm up a little bit and understand. So, from cloud tech consulting to now literally being backstage at live concerts with Aaron Fernandez Entertainment. Before we rewind, can you paint us a picture of what your life looks like today?
Yeah, sure. The life honestly looks good at this point. Uh, if I tell you in general, right now I handle the production and operations for acts and performing arts shows, including music shows and dance shows, etc. At venues like NMACC, NCPA, which are like the cultural institutes in India. I also get to travel all around India. I have produced shows in Delhi as well, and there are a few upcoming shows in Jaisalmer, Goa, at art festivals, etc. So in here, I am basically a project manager where we handle the budgeting and planning. We do artist tours in India, and we also create creative briefs for the clients. How are we going to produce these shows? So that's what I'm doing at this point, and it has been really fun and it's been really amazing to be here at this point.
So, it seems hectic. Do you get some time to yourself at all?
Yeah, I do get some time. It's especially the planning starts months ago for the project, but then closer to the project area there is no time, or closer to the project days there is no time. But then usually when it is in the planning stage, I do get some time for myself as well.
Okay, all right. So, Siddesh, let's go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Now, you were in dancing and you did a lot of dance and choreographing, even in school. Was that ever something that you thought could become a career, or was it just, pure passion at that point of time?
No, honestly, I did not have any idea about this becoming a career or I would be doing something like this in my career. Honestly, I had no idea at all. It was completely out of passion. I really like to build something from scratch, to be creative and build something in the creative space. And not even choreographing, I was also managing the complete event of that during Teachers' Day. It was like small events at that point in school, but then I was really interested in building those shows or building those acts at that point. So it was completely out of passion and just to be around people and work around people and build something was something that I was genuinely interested in. So yeah, it was a complete passion project from that time.
Do you think at that point of time, were you thinking like a manager, or do you think that skill came later?
Yeah, I think when I was in my college engineering and I founded this cultural club at that point, or when I was working in the fest, music festival. At that point, I think the manager mindset did come naturally because at that point, we had to understand what the people want at some point because whatever we are doing is for the audience. So, what are the things that are going to create the impact? What are the things that are going to hold them? And that is from the audience end. But then, when it comes to building the show or building the festival, then you have to work with students, work with vendors. So, you have to understand which person reacts to what thing and then basically manage them in that way. So I think those things are something that we had to do at that point, and again, it came naturally to understand how to deal with certain kind of situations, how to maintain that professionalism, but also get the work done. So yeah, I think the manager mindset did come at that point, and it did really help as well.
Yeah. And then you chose computer engineering. Um, I know we've spoken about this a lot, and this is something it's very close to my heart because I think we've spoken about this. A lot of people come and want to choose that safe path, or that that this is the right choice to make, even though both a hobby hai in that situation. I understand that your parents had a role here, but did you have any interest in tech, or was it just that path, like I said, that felt safe at that time?
Yeah, I think if I just rewind back a little from my school, I think I was pretty good at studies as well while doing all these other things. And that naturally took me to science as a field rather than commerce or art. And I think there was no option because I did not know that I had the option to take commerce or arts. It was so straight in our minds at that point that this is how things are done. Once you complete your 10th, you take science, and once your science is done, then you either choose NEET and be a doctor, or you choose JW or CT and be an engineer. I personally was not interested in the biology part of it, which I am right now. But then at that point, it felt really heavy. So I was like, then I have just one option in my hand, which is engineering. And I did not know what else to do, or if we are supposed to experiment and research and do something apart from engineering, is something that I had no idea about. And also, my parents played a role where they wanted someone to be an engineer in the family. And at that point, again, as I was good in studies, I got the marks to be eligible for computer engineering, which was again one of the highest fields in the engineering sector. So that's how I landed up in computer engineering in one of the good colleges again. But yeah, if I just zoom out at this point, I think it was more of the generation who just knew that either engineering or doctor. So I was just like a part of that system who just followed what the system allowed us to do, and that was engineering.
Yeah, unfortunately, that generation is still continuing. I still get a lot of inquiries where their interests are different, and
Absolutely.
what they actually end up taking is very different, and follow a similar path. Now, you graduated with a strong grade point average and joined Quantify as a pre-sales engineer. So there was cloud solutions, there was CXO meetings, there was this impressive role that was there on paper. Were you genuinely kind of enjoying it?
Uh, so initially, when I joined Quantifier, again it was more about tech consulting, and honestly, I did my computer engineering, but then I got an idea that I'm not much interested in the computer engineering sector. But when I joined it, I got to know about the cloud ecosystem and how things work at that point. So initially, it was a little heavy for me to understand all this when I did not have much interest to know about it. But then I think you just it becomes a part of your job, and then being adaptable to all the things, I just adapted that thing and I started learning about cloud, which again interested me a little about the cloud ecosystem and how does it work technically. But then the application of it was more about uh, presentations and more about the getting profits and revenues and business side of it, which I was genuinely not much interested at that point. And honestly, initially when I was getting to learn about cloud, it genuinely interested me that I'm learning something new. But then there came a plateau where I just had to apply whatever I've learned, and then it becomes just the standard procedure of making decks and just talking to clients and then just presenting them. It became a mundane thing after that, and then I started losing interest in that because there was nothing to learn
Yeah.
more after that.
Yeah. And was there any specific moment where you said this isn't for you, or I can't do this anymore?
I think that built up. It was building up for a long time. Initially, I like personally from my in my story, I had a good manager in the start who pushed me to learn things and to do things, take decisions in that. But then there were few changes in the organization, and then I think the seniority that we got, my job was just disaster management at that point, and just to handle things because of incompetence, some kind of incompetence in the seniority, and also it was in the end just trying to make the things right, which we were not supposed to take the calls for. So after a point, it got very heavy, and then we had to do the job of like three people, and that again started. I started getting frustrated because honestly, the culture there wasn't productive enough for me to stay there because I did not find like-minded people around that I can find at this point.
Obviously, because you also had a very deep interest in, wanting to talk about things which are probably not as like-minded as other people in that, to be fair, to quantify, I feel like maybe they wanted to talk about, the CXO meetings
Correct.
or the cloud or, things like that. And here you wanted to talk about music and dance or
Absolutely.
arts in some way. So yes, I think that's very important to understand that
Yeah, correct,
alignment
correct,
is very
absolutely.
important. uh, Now, during those tech years, were you still connected to music and dance or the arts in
Yeah, yeah.
any way
As I
informally?
genuinely had interest in music at that point, especially when I was working, and I was also learning Indian classical music at that time online through one of the sirs. And also, I was staying in Ahmedabad at that time, so I just got connected with few musicians in Ahmedabad. So I used to jam with them a little on the riverfront. So yeah, that is something that I did on the side with my job at that point.
Okay. So, was there like a specific time that you actually made the move? So, when you left Quantify and stepped into freelance events and, management and
Yeah.
all the other, exciting things, what actually made you finally decide, to make this move, more
Uh,
importantly?
Honestly, I think there was this one particular idea in my mind that I have time at this point to experiment with my career or myself, and that pushed me to like genuinely experiment about things because I, as mentioned earlier, that like a lot of things were going on in my mind at that point when I was working as well, and I wanted to apply those. I wanted to see where does that take me rather than just sticking to one stable job which was giving me good amount of money, but then I wasn't really satisfied with what I was producing from my personal end. So yeah, I think that one part that I have time now to experiment. I don't know, like this is our life and we can experiment at whatever age we want, honestly. But then at that point, I just told myself that Siddesh, you have time. You know that you want to do something different. You don't know what do you want to do exactly. Just give it a shot, and that's why I just tried to. I just got out of that system and tried exploring.
I think the fact that you even spoke about that you have time is one, it is a
Absolutely,
privilege for a lot of people to say that I have time. A lot of people get into these fields because uh you know they have to
absolutely,
do it. There's no choice. So I think there is a privilege here. But the fact that you also felt that, what, I'm young enough to try out these things right now and explore these areas and then figure out what next. So that is kind of a great mindset to have. And I think if anybody in the audience is even thinking in that way, it would be nice for them to not just stay stunted in that, oh, I want to do this, but at the same time I should just try it or do
absolutely,
other things, like you said,
absolutely.
on the side while they're working. Um, what did people around you, I think more importantly, family, friends, ex colleagues, because, say when you told them that you wanted to, quit, take this time out to figure, what did they say and
Right.
how did you handle
Honestly
that, more
speaking, I was
importantly?
fortunate enough to get the kind of support I needed at that point. The things were a little mixed. The opinions were a little mixed, where it was like, okay, you have time, you have your savings, then you should experiment because you want to, and it's your life. But then there were also some points when what's the plan? What are you doing? Where do you want to go? Then what is like on the paper? Is there something that you have concrete enough? So that questions did come at that point. And honestly, internally, I was like genuinely confused about what to say to such kind of people because a lot of people that I met outside as well was like, "What are you doing?" So I was not sure, like, what should I tell them? What am I doing? So it was a little difficult at that point, but I think it was more internal to just handle those feelings and handle that confusion myself and just stay calm at that point. So it was a little internal battle at that point. But fortunately, again, the family and friends were supportive enough or were very neutral at that point that let him figure out what he wants to do.
Hmm. I think the most important part of all of this, the family and friends, mostly family, is that you went from this stable corporate salary to freelance and
Absolutely.
eventually with Aaron Fernandez Entertainment. What was the financial and emotional reality of this transition? I know you said emotionally you had the support, but it takes a lot because you're getting this salary every month and then now you're trying to figure it out. So, what is your honest take on the
Sure, sure.
money part and
Honestly,
the emotion part?
thinking about it, it feels like a roller coaster, honestly, both my financial and emotional side. Financially, when I left my job, I had some savings at that point from my job that I was able to manage my life by my own at that point. But that was not for long enough that I could like support myself for like years and there is no worry about money. So initially, I had a ball. I was just trying to figure out. I was just doing the things that I liked and spending on things that I liked and that I genuinely wanted to do. But after a point, I started getting that idea that this money is not unlimited and that this is going to get over very soon. So you have to figure out and manage and understand the sustainability side of it. So if you're choosing something, so from a career point of view as well, you need to understand what the sustainability. Because if I'm choosing something that is way off and I need I'll get stable after 10 years or 5 years, or there is no surety, then you don't have that kind of capital in your pocket at that time. So yeah, that the I was swinging between these two ideas of having money, but then the money is going to get over. So there was a constant anxiety, honestly, from a financial point. Emotional point, I think it was again an internal battle that I was facing. Even if I got that kind of support from the family that you take your time, but then I felt like a loser at some point because then I am not able to like place myself in the society that I came out of, the computer engineering system that I came out of. All of them were either working in Microsoft or Google or some banks and stuff like that. And then I was here figuring out and not earning at that point, like stable income wasn't there. So that gave me a lot of pressure at that point that I need to figure out something. And even if I'm choosing something, then I need a top level role at that firm or in that career, because or else I am going to be a loser, or I am not going to sustain enough, or I'm not going to win at life, or I'm not going to be successful. So yeah, these thoughts did come like almost every
Yeah.
other day in my mind, and yeah, that was the battle that I had to manage in my mind.
Yeah, interesting. How did your engineering and pre-sales experience actually help you in performing arts? Were there any surprising transferable skills
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
you can kind of
Honestly,
tell us
engineering
about?
gives you that logical perspective to like handle things with logic and the mathematics to just calculate things in your mind and just apply things where they need to be. So engineering did definitely help me to again apply that logical perspective, and even my job gave me exposure to deal with clients outside India. So I dealt with clients in US, I dealt with clients in
Hmm.
Singapore, and at this point we are also managing artist tools for artists who are coming outside from outside the India. Like we are managing French artists or artists from Taiwan or
Okay.
from other countries. So I think at this point I have a little comfort because I have already dealt with clients outside India. That being there, the job also gave me a structure in my mind in terms of, because I had to get up every single day, do the work for the day, and then just shut my laptop. So there was a structure, and I think that structure helped me to follow in my freelance career as well, and now in my this job as well, where I have a basic structure in mind in terms of how am I going to manage my tasks, how am I going to manage my time, my meetings, etc. So yeah, that did really help me.
Okay. Okay. Um, Walk us through what you actually do uh, currently on a show day, or like what does an operations manager role look
Absolutely.
like on the
So
ground right
it
now?
is just like a project manager role where we get a project and then we have to budget the project. We have to understand the timeline. and in that timeline we need to sort out things. So in a show, we have to coordinate with artists, we have to coordinate with their accommodation, we have to coordinate with the lights and sound requirements that they are going to need for the performance. We have to coordinate with the venues like cultural institutions or other venues, that what kind of venue that they have, what kind of stage that they have, and then what the artist needs, how can we produce that set on the stage that the venue has giving us. So that is I think the fundamental thing that we do on a show, that we uh, try to build that show in terms of what the artist is, what the vision the artist has at that point, and we bring that to life so that the audience can will be able to see the kind of artist vision on the stage. So that is basically the core thing that we do. Apart from that, on the show day, we basically have to manage between all these people that I talked about. The side, sound, lights, and the venues, artists. We have to just coordinate that the things are flowing seamlessly and smoothly on the show day.
Yeah. What is also interesting is that you yourself have performed and you yourself have,
Absolutely.
you know, been on the stage. And I think that that experience, is getting magnified over
Absolutely.
here a lot. I see that, Siddesh, more than just the coordination. It's also understanding the nitty gritties of um, what can be done. Is the sound echoing too much? Things like that, which I feel like as a performer yourself, I think that might add more value here. Um, for the
Absolutely. I think the
for your
nitty-gritties are
clients as
something
well.
that makes like that impact that you want to create. That impact comes from these kind of nitty-gritties as well. Honestly, when I was talking about the festival management or the choreography at that point, or the thinking like a manager, honestly, while I was also performing, there are like very small things that I was observant about. Very simply, if I put, like, where are the electricity plugs? Because not on the stage, but in the venue, in the whole venue, where are the electricity plugs? Because you might have to shift something, and you might need those kind of that kind of electricity supply at that point. So it's just about being observant about whatever is there in your environment and just trying to apply on the time of disaster. These things come to life. So that has been my nature right from my college time. So I think that is something that I genuinely apply here as well. And these kind of nitty gritties, I'm talking of the production nitty gritties as well. But these nitty gritties definitely help to for the artist to
Correct.
be sane enough on the performance day, and we handle these kind of things.
Yes. Yeah. And what's the most intense or high pressure situation you've had to handle? Now, I'm not asking you to I'm sure there are lots. I mean, you've had such a, diverse experience with different organizations. So it does not necessarily have to be with the current organization, but anything like most intense or high pressure that
Yeah, I
you've
think
kind of had to handle live?
the rain has been a very high pressure thing for me, because I think that has happened during IPL as well, and during the fest that I was organizing in my college as well. Both the times, I think that is something that I remember very clearly, because rain is something that definitely stops the event, because everything is very from an electrical
Yes.
point. There is like safety hazards are there and all the things that you need to keep in mind. So during my college, I think I had the show going on, and there was rain, and we had to vacate the entire area. And I was worried that my show is over and the people are going to go home, and there is no show. And I've built that show for like 6 months. So it was a very high pressure time at that point. But then, as I mentioned you earlier, and I was observant enough about my entire surrounding. So I just directed that crowd to a lobby which was covered. And at that point, we put a speaker there, and we had a flash mob ready that we wanted to show. So we did our flash mob in that lobby area, where all the people, like around 500 people, were in that lobby on the first floor in the lobby. We did that flash mob, and till that time, we were lucky enough that the rain went away and we were able to resume the show. So at that point, we again directed the crowd to the main location. So yeah, that was very heavy at that point to just take the calls and take the decisions in the last moment. So what do you need to do? Just being on our feet and just trying to apply whatever you can think at that point, because or else you just can't let things go that I don't have anything to do. I can't do anything much about it. That's not the answer in this field. I think you have to
Mm.
do something. You have to think something.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of also helps me, helps in in the next question. For someone watching this who loves dance or live music, what are skills or experience um, that would help them break into this field? Is there a clear path? One I feel that you've mentioned is, thinking on the go, your experience in, your personal experiences as a performer. But are there any other, uh, is there a clear path, or are there any other skills that someone needs to first acknowledge that they have if
Absolutely.
they want to get into
So,
this field?
honestly, the like when it comes to performing, there are like two parts here. When it comes to performing and when it comes to management, like production and event management. When it comes to performing and someone wants to enter into the artist performing field, then I think the most important thing is the network that you have at this point, because people need to know you and then they are going to call you. So you have to be as visible as you can in workshops, in like if you're a dancer, then joining dance academies or trying to just network with as much people as you can and just show up wherever you can on the shows, on the workshops, because that is when people are going to know you and then people might call you for the show or for that event.
Mm,
So I think, and honestly, there is no clear path
yeah,
in the
yeah.
performing arts field.
Yeah, it's tougher. It's tougher to probably get a
Absolutely.
job or to get a role in performing arts than
Yeah, I
in
think
engineering
that is
right
that
now.
this
And
is the high risk, high reward field, honestly. That is, the risk is really high because you don't know if you're getting to get the job. But then once you again you build the network, you people start knowing you and you again produce good art and you produce good performances. Then I think there is a time when people do call you samne se, but then, yeah, you need to give this years to build that network or to just be in that ecosystem and be visible in that ecosystem for long enough. And when it comes to production,
yeah, what I'm also hearing is persistence,
absolutely.
basically. Also, a lot of persistence and interest in this area.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. And when it comes to production, I think that is more of a on the field job. So again, if people are interested to be
hmm.
on the field, then I think there are like volunteering opportunities for festivals. There are opportunities to start as an intern in a few event management companies. So that's how people can definitely start. And once they build their portfolio and resume enough to get a job as a production manager or operations manager in like good firms or good event management companies.
Yeah, yeah, that's helpful. So, if we want to reflect a little bit, Siddesh, what is one thing that you wish someone had told you before you made the switch?
Ah, uh, I think the one thing that I think I should have known earlier was that you don't need to figure out your life in one day. You can take your time to just relax and just take time to figure out what energizes me and what aligns with my thought process. It's like life doesn't end at 25, and you can like experiment and fail and then again come back. And you don't need to worry about your entire life at the age of 24, 25, or 26. I think that is something that I think that I should have known very clearly and it should have been imbibed in me, because again the pressure was a lot at that point.
Yeah. For someone who's at a crossroads right now, stuck between a stable job and something that actually excites them, what's your honest
Yeah,
advice?
honestly, if I think back at this point, I think the transition should be slow because you also get to know if you're genuinely interested in something, while you can
Yeah.
keep the job that you have and start exploring what you genuinely like or what genuinely excites you. start building your network in that field, as I mentioned earlier. And then once you know that you can shift to this field with a certain kind of certainty at a point, then I think you can make the transition. But then completely living off one field, I think what I did was, it might be courageous, but it was also not a very foolproof plan that I had. And again, as you mentioned, that people don't have the privilege of financial stability at that point that I had from my family as well. So I think the best way to transition is to explore the things that you like with your job, and then slowly transition, slowly keep the building the network, keep showing up in that ecosystem as well, and then transition slowly into that field is something that I think.
Any final thoughts or a message that you'd like to leave today with our audience,
Uh,
Siddesh?
I think the transition, uh, the career transition is usually messy. And again, coming from you, you might have seen a lot of people here. And I think that
Mm.
that is naturally messy because the transition is not like a simple stepwise process. Generally, because it is a lot of a mental game rather than the physical game, initially, especially. The physical game also comes where you have to go and network. But then I think there is a quote, it is in Hindi, if I may say that. It's like, it goes like, कि निकाल लाया हूँ पिंजरे में से परिंदे को, निकाल लाया हूँ पिंजरे में से परिंदे को, अब परिंदे के दिल में से पिंजरा निकालना है. Which is something that I went through. That I had to leave a lot of things. I had to leave that identity of computer engineering to finally choose entertainment and just be at that. So because I was really stuck in that bubble. So I think this is the message for everyone, that it is supposed to be messy, but then again, if it energizes you, it is worth a shot to take in your life.
Awesome. If people want to know more about your work or if they want to reach out to you, can they find you on social media
Yeah, absolutely.
somewhere?
They can find me on Instagram. It is Siddesh underscore Sonawane. My name SIDDESH underscore
Yep.
Sonawane. I think you might mention it in some description or something.
I
Yeah,
will. Yeah, we'll include these links for our viewers in the description
absolutely.
below.
And I'm usually very
Right.
active on Instagram these days. So yeah, people can definitely reach out to me on Instagram.
Great. Thank you so much, Siddesh, for sharing your experiences and your journey with us today. I'm sure this will inspire our audience, and I wish you the best on
Thank
your
you so much,
journey
Naida. Thank you so much for
ahead.
calling me here. I had a really great time just sharing my story, and I just hope that this helps people to get some kind of clarity or just some kind of
Yeah,
inspiration to do what they like. Thank you so much for calling me.
I'm sure. I'm sure. To our viewers, we hope you found this conversation insightful. Stay tuned for more episodes of Discover You Career Journeys, where we aim to bring you inspiring stories. At the end of each career journey, we bring you the key learnings from our conversations with our guests. For Siddesh's journey, one of the strongest reminders was this: your hobbies can be early signs of your true strengths. Long before Siddesh knew what he wanted to do professionally, he was already organizing events and building shows just for the love of it. Many career paths don't start with a wrong choice, they start with a narrowed map, where the options presented to you were limited from the very beginning. Along the way, Siddesh discovered that even the wrong job teaches you something valuable. The skills and structure he built in tech became the very foundation of his work in live entertainment. Career experimentation takes both courage and privilege, and Siddesh was honest about both. He acknowledged that his savings and family support made his leap possible in a way that simply isn't available to everyone. His journey also reminded us that the financial and emotional reality of a career transition is harder than it looks. The self doubt, the comparisons, the pressure to place yourself in society, these take a very real toll. For anyone drawn towards performing arts, visibility and networking are the paths in. Showing up consistently in the right spaces is the strategy, because there is no standard recruitment pipeline. And for those interested in production and event management, hands-on experience is the entry point. Volunteering at festivals and interning with event companies is how you build your way in. Siddesh's advice for anyone at a crossroads was simple. Explore your passion alongside your job before making the leap, and transition slowly. And perhaps most importantly, he reminded us that career transitions are messy. And that's completely normal, because sometimes the hardest part isn't finding the new path, it's letting go of the identity you've outgrown. Thank you for watching this inspiring conversation on DiscoverU Career Journeys. If you've enjoyed this chat, hit the like button and let me know in the comment section which part of today's story inspired you most. And if you have questions about your own career or want to hear from people in a specific industry, drop those suggestions below as well. Don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a new career journey. It may just be the inspiration you were looking for. Until next time, stay happy.